ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD, and welcome to We Need to Talk, the one podcast show where I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to be permanently a VTuber or occasionally showing up in human. Either way, I am just doing this as a means of preventing twink death and showing that time comes for everybody, and I don't want to look like I have aged a day past 29. I am, of course, Matthew Tyler DeLeo. I'm joined, of course, by my co-host, Wrath of Fire, a man who wants to play Subnautica 2, but is too terrified to play Subnautica 1.
I don't like being by myself anymore.
Is it one of those things where the concept of horror just by yourself is what truly makes it terrifying, the isolationist part?
No. It's the fact that, one, I'm by myself. Two, I'm on a planet that is actively trying to kill me. And three, it takes place majority underwater. And four, it is a base builder game. And it's open world.
Yeah. I can kind of vibe with that. I mean, I'm still, like, I just started playing it last night, and I was really kind of thrown off by the fact that, this isn't on Earth. This is on a fictional alien planet, which I didn't realize. I thought the second game was like that. And that just kind of threw me away. But I'm enjoying it. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm terrified yet. But then again, within the first 5 minutes, I died of radiation poisoning. So that was fun. But you know what? I'm not just by myself. We are joined here today by a very wonderful VTubing guest, a person who has gone through multiple changes, and we will be talking about that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk to Gemini Prince VT. Hi, Gemini. How you doing?
Hi. How's it going? I'm doing really good right now.
I'm glad that you are. I'm just going to very briefly turn down my lo-fi tunes just because while I do love jazz, I want to make sure that I'm hearing you a little bit better. Now,
right.
First of all, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Might I ask, for the people that will be eventually catching this on the internet, on YouTube, and for people that might tune in a little bit later if they want to rewatch this VOD, can you tell the audience who you are? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Pitch yourself.
Well, hello there. My name's Gemini Prince. I'm a variety streamer and artist and aspiring VA and singer. I am transmasc and disabled, and I someday want to make a comic series, a horror comic series called Splatterpunk. Yeah.
I was legitimately curious about that because you had mentioned in your intro video about Splatterpunk, and I'm familiar with the comic series turned video game Splatterhouse. So that immediately made me think of that. What could you pitch to me? What is Splatterpunk in particular? Like, what is your concept?
Oh gosh, this is always the hardest part. Oh, I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
All right. This is always the hardest part because it's gone through many changes. It's something that I've been working on since middle school, actually, is when I came up with the first ideas for it, because I guess, where should I start? This is why it's hard.
Yes.
So Splatterpunk is about this actor and model and famous person by day, and serial killer by night.
Okay.
And the various things. There's supernatural elements. Oh God. And it's inspired by. It's actually started out as a fan fiction and then became its own thing. It was a fan fiction of a comic series called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
That sounds familiar.
If you've ever heard of it.
It sounds familiar.
It was made by the creator of Invader Zim, Jonan Vasquez. Mm-hmm. And it's what he did before Invader Zim. He published it when he was only 19 years old.
I mean, you'd be surprised what you create at such an early age, right? Some people can just knock it out of the park, but then once they've done their thing, they never make anything ever again.
Yeah, and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac stars Johnny C., who is a very interesting individual with lots of issues, who has to keep painting a wall in his house with blood. And if the blood runs dry, then the monster from behind the wall will escape and kill everyone. So that is why he has to kill people. I was really, it's a comedy as well. It's very unserious.
I mean,
very out there.
There's a lot of horror stuff that sort of toes the line between surreal and absurd. For example, like The Mask. What a lot of people don't realize that the movie starring Jim Carrey is a very different graphic novel, a very different comic book.
Very
Oh yeah,
and
it's very fucking cool though.
And so when you kind of sit down and you read it, you're just like, oh my fucking god, I can't believe someone decided to adapt this and to turn it into a film.
The first comic, is almost like, well, the movie basically adapts, I guess, the first comic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the second comic is, very unhinged, very violent. And then the third one, I think, is a completely different character that finds the mask. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on?
Oh, where was I going to go with this? Right. And so that was the base inspiration, and I sort of I really loved that comic and anime at the same time, and so it started out as what if we took this concept and we made it into an anime with sort of like a shonen anime. And that was the basic bones of it. As I grew up, I realized that it was getting way bigger than just a fan fiction, and I decided to scrub everything and totally start over and make it my own thing. And that's where it kind of started in high school. Let's see. I'm really good at answering specific questions, but I have issues describing it right now because it's gone through so many changes and it's still going through changes.
Well, actually, that is kind of what I was going to ask you about, is going through changes. How has your writing style changed? How has been the creation process of this idea? Because I know, when I was in high school, I did not know how to properly write. And, when they would give me, write an essay, Matthew, and I'm sitting there going, cool, but I'm botching this, and I don't know why I'm botching it. And it wasn't until I went to college and started doing not only YouTube, but also working in journalism, I realized that I can't write unless I dictate to myself, unless I speak the words out properly, so that way I'll know, this is a run-on sentence. I need to change that. Or this doesn't make any sense. I need to edit that. Or I'm using the wrong, turn of phrase for the word. So, how has your writing style changed going from high school to how you are now when it comes to working on Splatterpunk?
Well, it's always been hard for me to sit down and write. I actually, very bad, never do this. I keep most of it in my head.
Yeah, that's not great.
I keep most of it in my noggin. It's a very bad idea. But when I actually did try to sit down and write everything, at one point I changed it from a comic to a novel. And when I gave it to someone to beta read, they were like, this plays out like the episode of a show or a comic. This is not normal writing. You're not good for chapter books.
Yeah.
So I started changing to writing things like a stage play or a screenplay. Just to make an outline for the comics later. But also I think, I don't know about writing style, but the things that my experience with the topics that I write about have gotten better over time as the series changed from being just about look at this crazy guy, isn't he crazy? To being a little more serious, these are people dealing with mental illness, and abuse and things like that. And then when I actually experienced a 3-year abusive relationship, I got tons of research.
Yeah, it's
able to apply that.
It's kind of funny how abuse really can help the creative drive.
Yeah.
Sif just basically just said, I share this bad habit as well. Friends keep screaming at me to write shit down, and I always forget to follow through on that.
Terrible ADHD. I can't.
I also have ADHD as well. But the thing that I find is that those thoughts and ideas to create will stick in my head and will not shut the ever-loving fuck up until I eventually get it done, which is one of the reasons why I do video game reviews, because I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, I really need to talk about this. Like right now, in the back of my head for, I want to say over 7 years, I haven't finished this video yet, but now that my YouTube series has finished its 2nd season, now I can go back and do all the stuff that wouldn't have worked. I've been wanting to do for over 7 years, talking about why Yakuza 3 was always a garbage video game. And like explaining narratively how it fucks up, gameplay wise, how it fucks up, and sitting there going like how, with all due respect, it kind of destroyed the main character to the point where they tried to kill him off. They tried to introduce other main characters and realized, shit, this isn't working. We gotta bring him back. So I'm going to possibly do that. By the way, good job. Lots of streamers mispronounce my name the first time. Hey, I am glad that I managed to break the mold. If you don't mind me asking, though, so let me go into this. This isn't your first time at BAT, because when I was doing research to try to find Gemini Prince VT, I stumbled across another channel called Gemikun.
Oh yeah, Gemikun. That was my old main channel that I abandoned.
Yeah, because I was sitting there and I'm like, it's the same voice, it's same eye color, same hairstyle. I was very intrigued because last night Wrath explained to me the concept of graduation in the VTuber space. And he basically said, people graduate based upon one of two things. Either A, they're done with their character model, and they'll just say, hey, I'm moving on to this, you can follow me here. Or they're just like, you know what, I'm done with the space entirely, and they just quit. Cold turkey. And they never come back and return. So I was curious as to why you made the switch from Gemikun to Gemini Prince, because once again, under that channel, you were also advertising yourself under Gemini Prince as well, I noticed.
Yeah, I just changed the name so that I could use it on my new channel and people wouldn't get confused. It's also not graduation. I rebranded.
Okay.
I've rebranded several times, and this is something that my community may sometimes find slightly annoying. I can't be one thing for too long.
Well, here's the thing. Are you... Like, the major thing that I have with my character, right? Like, I've gone through multiple interpretations of SonicMTD, and that was all due to budget. I went from wanting to just make acoustic covers to going from acoustic covers to doing video game reviews, from doing video game reviews to now upping the production value, actually including my character on screen, and sort of learning and growing as I go along, but it has always been under the SonicMTD banner. So even if there is a drastic change in content or change in visual style, it'll have an entire archive of my work rather than spreading it out across multiple channels.
Yeah.
Where does the idea of, I should probably just change to a new account because people might be confused if I do this. Aren't you worried about losing your previous audience?
So, these two accounts have always been a thing simultaneously. The one that I'm on right now used to be where I would just stick my VODs. And then the other main channel was where I was gonna make video essays and stuff that I wanted. So they were both simultaneously being used at the same time. They were just a part of everything. I didn't really change much. I'm so sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. But I didn't change. I didn't really change over much. It really wasn't much of a sacrifice because I'm small anyway.
I mean, that's...
People always tell me, huh?
That's perfectly fine. I was curious about the change in character models as well, because the previous one that you had looked like a much more mature kind of character, and this younger version is a small bean, so to speak.
Yeah. I was like a cyberpunk, just like a cyberpunk guy.
Yeah.
And then when I was just sort of like, I just wanted to move on to the new sort of style I'm interested in, then that's when I changed style. I didn't really change channels. I just sort of said, hey, everything's gonna be on the one channel instead of two of them now.
How do you end up creating your character model? Like, cause
I use. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I use a Vroid, the program Vroid. I think you probably have experience with that.
Oh, no, I have no idea. What possibly makes you say that?
Context clues.
just a little here or there. Although, I will casually say, Vroid kind of sucks in a sense of when you try to export the model. I use like VC Face, which is fine. It grabs what it can. But like if I want to bring my model into, say, like VR chat, it is a soul-destroying process.
Oh yeah, and I do it frequently. There are ways that you can make it easy now, but I throw my shit into Blender and I fix all the bones, and then I put it in Unity and put it in VR chat. It's a lightning fast thing for me now, though, because I've been doing it for so long.
I'm going to need you to teach me sometime in the future. I don't care if we don't become friends after this podcast. I will go down. I will visit you. I'll get on the fucking plane if I can. Just teach me how to do this.
It is second nature to me now. When I explain it to other people, they're like, that sounds like the hardest thing in the universe. And to me, I'm just like, I do this shit every day.
Well, that you bring up a very interesting point, because you're a multifaceted person. And what I mean by that is, so outside of writing Splatterpunk, so you're trying to do writing, but you've also mentioned that you have a passion for as well web design and coding. On top of that. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but you're also kind of listed as a singer. And I've seen videos of you singing songs as well. So you kind of have this brilliant sort of creative analytical mind that...
Oh, gee.
So I'm always kind of fascinated to see another creative, but who might be having different skills than I do, a different toolkit than I do, or looking at things through a different mindset. Because I'll tell you one thing, my dad is a computer programmer. I had to be dragged kicking and screaming to learn C++, HTML, and Java. And I barely remember that shit.
Well, I don't know anything as complicated as like C# or Python or anything. It's just HTML and CSS, maybe JavaScript in the future. But I run a little website, and I just make that for fun, and I just put the things that I like on there, my little shrines and things. I love the old web, so I make everything in the style of like the 90s internet.
I noticed that when I went on to your personal channel, because I was sitting there looking at this going, oh my god, this is a 2000s Scene Kids MySpace page. The colors, the everything, the yaoi paddles. It's bringing it back.
Oh god, the paddles! The paddles!
Yeah, you probably saw my straw page as well. It's similar.
Yeah, it's exactly where I went to as well. I'm going to casually say, so Wrath let out a groan, but he did not know what a yaoi paddle was until last night. I explained it to him.
You had to explain that to me.
Oh my god.
Because at first I was thinking, like, for me, I thought, like, okay, so paddle, so I'm assuming it's paddle shaped. And yaoi, I'm assuming it's like, oh, let me guess, they go up to somebody, slap them on the ass with it, and say, oh, the person that's on this paddle, I want to see you being shipped with them, or something like that. That's what I thought.
Oh, Jesus.
The late 2000s was a wild west for people on the spectrum in the convention circuit. Just a bunch of people with no social skills being let loose on a fucking convention center, and you're just sitting there going, as long as the cops aren't called, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, it's like, hi, there's a bunch of autistic individuals in this anime convention. What if we sell them an oar-sized paddle with yaoi on it and told them to spank each other on the ass? That would be great.
And it also came at the same time as glomping and the birth of the My Little Pony fandom, which like a lot of people don't realize came out of fucking nowhere for me, because I was like originally too cool for school. Like, nobody bother me, just keep your head down, everything's all right. And then going to a convention and I'm like, I'm allowed to, I can be as weird as I fucking want, and no one, well, just don't get arrested, and don't grope people.
Let's go.
Don't grope people inappropriately, and don't tackle hug people. And then a vast majority of people are like, "Nah, I'm still gonna tackle people down a flight of stairs."
They used to have an issue with signs as well. I don't know if that's still a thing. You can't hold up signs.
Certain signs. I know that certain conventions are like, oh, don't do free hugs or anything. And some people are like, okay, well, let's circumvent it. And so instead of free hugs, they'll say free shrugs. And it's like, can I get a free shrug? And then they'll just like move their arms and go, This would have been funnier. This would have been funnier if I had my hand tracking sensor on, because I realized I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do a shrug emotion, and I'm like, no, it's just the character model. I did not think this through.
I can do this.
Yeah, pretty much. You nailed it. So I want to ask you, because you have a fascination with horror. On one of your videos, you actually said the words that with horror you find comfort and relatability into it, and I'm fascinated by that phrasing in particular. Could you expand upon how something like horror can make you feel relatable as well as comfort towards it? Because for me, it brings up the anxiety. I feel dread and adrenaline whenever I watch horror.
I mean, with certain types of horror, definitely. They're just like, how do I put it? I guess it was sort of like being in an abusive relationship where stuff that was scary sort of became kind of comforting. I like to be scared. I think it's fun. But also I find different characters in horror to be relatable sometimes, or just like villains in general. I find like villains to be comforting sometimes. Oh gosh, but how? It's really hard to explain. I really don't know what draws me to these things, but I think it's partly because I like slasher horror a lot. I like that kind of stuff. I think what fascinates me as a person who like always finds myself in the caring role and caring about others and worrying about everything is that I'm fascinated by characters that don't care about anybody but themselves.
Oh, because it's a polar opposite of you, so it's like watching through a different lens.
Exactly, it is. And I also, as scary as it is, it also kind of has a sort of freedom to it, because I often feel pretty shackled by the fact that I'm in the role of taking care of people and worrying a lot. I have high anxiety disorder and like people pleasing issues and stuff like that. So to sort of like watch a movie or something, whether it's horror or not really, about someone who has a complete lack of caring for humans in general is really fascinating to me. I won't say what do they call it? I don't idolize it or anything, obviously.
I can fix him.
In a fictional sense, you know. It's nice to sort of, what do they say, live vicariously through a character that doesn't care, because you can kind of breathe a little bit and take a break.
For me, it's the opposite. I prefer a villain that absolutely... Well, there's two types of villains that I like. The first one is a villain that actually knows what they exactly want and are very competent and very smart about trying to get what they want. All right? And then there's the ones where the villain is actually fucking right, or has a very good fucking point about something that's been wrong.
Those are pretty good too.
Like,
I really-
my favorite villain right now is the White Rabbit from Devil May Cry anime.
Mm.
And I'm like, this dude is 100% right. He's right.
I'm with Wrath on that. Well, not completely with his, not argument, more like a point of view. I like villains who have some legitimacy to their argument. The ones that are always sort of like really the most likable are ones where you're like, I can see where you're coming from. I don't agree with how you go about doing things, but I can
accomplish it.
Yeah, but I can vibe with that. I think my first major exposure to a likable villain. Have you guys ever played Soul Calibur 2?
I have not.
Okay.
Off and on.
So Soul Calibur 2, the main protagonist of that version, surprisingly wasn't Keelik. It was Raphael. And Raphael Sorel is a French aristocrat who basically was, I think, like, they didn't fully explain it, but he's on the run. And he's on the run because members of his own family are basically trying to oust him. When a local orphan girl pretty much says, hide in here, I'll tell the guards that you're not in here. So he hides, and this little girl called Amy lures the guards away. And he's just sitting there going like, my entire life has been people backstabbing me and betraying me. And this girl who I have never met before in my entire life just stuck her neck out for me. I don't know who this girl is, but I'm going to do everything to create a world in which she doesn't that is safe for both of us. And I'm like, that's wonderful. I like that idea. And his justification is, I'm going to find this cursed weapon that can remake all of reality. And I'm like, that is not how you do that, Raphael.
No.
That is in the completely opposite direction here.
God.
Yeah, so it's just like they introduced a really flawed character who eventually becomes a villain in the later games. But like in the second game, I'm like, this character is fantastic because his morals and ethics are wrong, but he's coming from a good place. And it's always good to have that sort of like emotional grapple where you can sit there and go, no, they're not just cartoonishly evil. There is a mindset. And unfortunately, sometimes you can't change people of that mindset. But like legitimately, that's what I love about villainous characters is if you can make them relatable, if you can actually do that. But I want to ask, so I'm just sort of going through the questions that I have. Can you tell me a little bit about your fascination with Durarara?
My God! I could talk about this for hours. Buckle up. I'm kidding. But I really, really, really love the anime Durarara.
Is that
where
the
do
one
you
with
want me to start?
Is that the one with the lizard guy? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, that's Dorohedoro.
Okay, that's Dorohedoro.
Durarara is an anime from 2010 about a lot of people living in a part of Tokyo called Ikebukuro, and everything that happens there. It involves Yakuza. It involves supernatural entities, mentally ill people, and teenagers who are in a gang. Multiple gangs.
I started off reading the Durarara manga, but unfortunately I didn't finish it. And the reason why I didn't finish it is it came at a time where I was catastrophically poor. And I had enough money for rent. I did not have enough money for food. And I spent a lot of my time shoplifting from like grocery stores, convenience stores. And I'm like, okay, I don't have the money to afford manga. So unless I can get illegal scans of it, I'm not continuing it. And so I had to drop Durarara at that point, and I just never picked it up ever again, unfortunately. So I was just kind of curious about like what specifically about that show really sort of, won you over.
Well, this is going to come back to villains, but there's this one character called Izaya Orihara who I just became absolutely fucking obsessed with. And also, it's kind of a long story how I got here. But essentially, back in like 2015 or so, I originally watched the show, and I really liked Izaya, who's the technical antagonist. I don't believe that there's really a villain of Durarara because everybody is equally a protagonist in that show. It sort of just goes into everybody's head. Oh gosh, my train of thought.
For those that are wondering who the hell she's talking about, the image of the character Izaya Orihara is currently on screen. So we're dealing with evil boy band right now, holding a knife.
Yeah, he's very emo boy of the decade, very much. And what really got me at first was the complexity of the show, but also like I'm gonna admit I was like 19 at the time. I really like shipping, so that also comes back to the yaoi.
Well, everything about your personal page, I'm just like, okay, I know exactly what this was like because I dated a girl who was into a lot of that stuff as well. So I'm just sitting there going, okay, there's Bludgeoning Angel, Dokuro-chan, there's Karin, which I actually have the box set of Karin in the back, sort of in like I'm staring at it right now. I have a shelf that basically has it. Karin's a great shoujo romance slice of life anime. And
so long.
It's been forever. And I'm trying to remember what else. I might have
Two Heart on there too.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what was it specifically about Karin, and why am I not seeing fruit baskets on your page?
I just haven't gotten around to drawing for it yet. But the reason I chose Karin to draw recently was because I got to be a part of an ACG Goods collab, and the theme of the collab was Vampire Ball, and so I sell merch. I create merch, and my like mission statement on my my goals on my merch page say that I want to make merch for anime that rarely ever get merch or none at all. So I chose Karin because it is a good, like, old, slightly obscure, like, show/manga that I never see getting any merch. And it fits into the vampire theme, so I thought, sure, I'll go with that. I did watch a couple episodes of Karin, or maybe a season when I was in high school, but that is it, and I don't remember much about it.
So everyone remembers an anime that really got them into anime. And what I mean by that is anime, normally it starts off with whatever is being shown on television, like whatever the popular stuff is, like your Narutos, your One Pieces, things like that. But eventually you're like, you know what? Maybe I need to explore. And there's usually one series that pulls you out. And the one series that really made me go down an anime hole was a mid-2000s anime about vampires called Tsuyoki Moon Phase or whatever.
I've heard of that.
You've never heard? Okay, cool. Well, basically the equivalent of it is like it takes place in the supernatural.
I have.
You have
heard of it.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think I watched an episode when it was on Netflix, and I was like, okay, this is one of those like gal game-based shows or something.
Yeah, it kind of like jumps between like serious and comedy. It's kind of like the best way to describe it is like, what if Card Captors had like, you know, just on-site gags every now and then? And I'm like, cool, but I kind of want to know about the main story. I kind of want to know about the main characters. Could you show that main stuff? And I'm not knocking the series, but unfortunately, you have to sort of go to the manga. And unfortunately, the manga at the time was owned by Tokyopop. And do you know what the situation with Tokyopop was?
I just know that it just wasn't doing well. That's all I know.
So Tokyopop was in charge of the series, and then they went out of business and just sat on the IP. So instead of releasing it, it just kind of went there, and the only people that you can rely on are people that are scanslating it, which is very much unfortunate, because I'm just sitting there going like, wait, where does this end? Why are you doing this to me?
There is like still tons of anime and manga that never get translated, and it baffles me, honestly.
You might have to, like, it eventually kind of boils down to getting people to do scan projects, like commissioning them, or sitting there going like, fuck it, I'll learn to do this myself.
Yeah.
Which is fun, but it's chaotic. It's also a lot of work. And it's not for everybody. Can I ask you as well, you like horror, you like supernatural stuff. You also seem to like professional wrestling. So
my boyfriend is really, really into professional wrestling, and we watch it together.
Do you have a favorite character or archetype? Because I saw you talking about Finn Balor during his demon performance.
That was somebody showing him to me. I'd never really seen him before. But I really like Willow Nightingale. She's with AEW. She's my favorite right now. She's just so upbeat and sunshiny, and her tagline is, I think, "The world sucks, smile anyway," I think.
My favorite character over the past 10 years is a female wrestler, which has surprised me. Because normally you would think like the male wrestlers for a dude like me would win me over. But the one that I like the most, and technically she's kind of on rocky terms with the WWE, her name's Asuka, and she is the Empress of Tomorrow. She started off like as an NXT Japanese powerhouse where they're like, cool, you can't lose. Like we're going to make it where you have just an insane undefeated streak. And then she gained so much traction from NXT that they brought her over to the main roster. And then once they brought her onto the main roster, she was a domineering force. But this was back during the time when Vince McMahon was still in charge. And Vince doesn't like foreign people in charge of the divisions that they have. Normally, they're the foils. They're the main people that have to lose. So they had Asuka drop her undefeated streak to Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, and it kind of deflated a huge amount of goodwill, mystique, and push that went into building her up. She still became a really great female professional wrestler, and she still is. I have one of her hoodies, but it became apparent that the only plans that they had for her was to build her up so that way she can lose at WrestleMania. She has lost every single WrestleMania that she has been a part of, which is very unfortunate. Yeah. And this is after, like, she went away because she injured herself. She got knee surgery, came back, and has been with the company for, I want to say, maybe 11 years or so. And they just had a massive pay-per-view with her versus Io Sky, and Io Sky won. But despite the fact that she won, she acted like it was a retirement match against Asuka. And she dropped her character as a result of that. She wasn't expecting it. And even though these people are in a grudge match and they're supposed to hate each other, they briefly stopped, hugged each other in the middle of the ring, and cried. And I'm sitting there going, oh no. Because normally something like this doesn't happen unless something bad is going on behind the scenes. And a lot of people were like, maybe she's possibly going to be fired shortly after this. Maybe there's something that's going on because a lot of wrestlers were let go. A lot of them are like, oh, you need to take a pay cut. So there was this suspicion, and Asuka is still employed with the WWE, but she hasn't made a major appearance since. So there's a chance that her career might be winding down, which is unfortunate because I feel like she never got the love and flowers that she should have gotten. But I'm hoping that there's still time to bring her out for one final WrestleMania match so that she can have, that one taste of victory, and then maybe she can retire when everything is said and done.
Oh. Yikes! I hope so.
Sorry, I'm really passionate about storytelling. I'm really passionate about, like, before I got into game reviewing, my dream as a young kid was to be a professional wrestler.
Ah, that's so cool, though.
But I realized it wasn't going to work with me because I was just not a jockey kind of guy. I did not have the physique to do so. But like, still, I have a love and passion for professional wrestling, even though I know that it is staged, even though that it is predetermined. The amount of physical strain that goes through these people's bodies, and it's like live theater with competition sport and just genuinely insane athleticism. What kind of like got me into it was my dad was helping out a friend doing computer repair, and I turned on the television and I saw a bald-headed, foul-mouthed Texan in knee braces drive a cement truck up to his boss's Corvette and then proceed to fill that Corvette with cement, and while viewing expletives and like flipping off the middle finger, and I'm sitting there as a grade schooler going, that man is in so much trouble.
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.
Oh, my teachers hated when I got into my Stone Cold Steve Austin phase because I was just flipping the bird all the time.
Oh no! Oh, that's so fucking funny,
I
though.
loved Stone Cold Steve Austin in Celebrity Deathmatch the most.
So, I want to ask you a very brief question because I need you to provide context for something. And I'm just going to load up the chat here, and the rest of the people in the chat will see it on screen, but I want you to just sort of bring context to this image right here. Could you explain to me what we're looking at?
Hang on. I need to go to the stream again. Oh, come on. It's just showing me.
Could you explain what's going on in the background of the picture?
Fine. They can't see it.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was just showing them.
Okay, give me a second. Let me load up the chat then.
Load up the chat. Oh, this. Okay, so I went into a world in VR chat and I found that. I found that meme behind a TV, and so I decided to film a funny bit in front of it.
Because I was sitting there, hear me out. After finding your channel, the very first thing I watched was your intro video. And I just sat there for a brief second going, this is who I'm dealing with now.
The chaos ensued.
The chaos that ensues. This is now that it has been
Slutty McButtface. Okay.
No, Slutty McButt Sex himself.
Sex. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to be using that from now on.
Oh my god. Apparently it's from like a Ray William Johnson like music video back when he was doing the My Something Martian.
My Favorite Martian? I don't know.
Yeah, My Favorite Martian music video. I think that's what it was from.
Sorry, I just took one good look at this and I'm like, there needs context. I need context. I can't go to sleep now. I need answers.
Yeah, no, it's literally just something I found in a VR chat world. and decided to film a bit in front of it as if somebody had put it there when I wasn't looking. And so I realized it was behind me and I was like, get out of there!
So, Mind Meats, first of all, welcome to the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. They want to know...
Kiara.
They want to know what song in particular, if you could possibly...
Oh god, was it about like a sexy grandma or something, I think? I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, really can't remember.
If she can take out her teeth.
I think it was about like an old granny with like a salacious dating profile, but I cannot remember which one it was.
You're a little late. You're a little late on the sound effects.
It wouldn't load in.
Oh my lord.
This is kind of the chaos and anarchy that you have to deal with us. The one thing. Oh, they've got it now. Okay, well, I'm probably going to ask them to tell me what the name of it is, so that way I can go search it later. It's called Grandma Got a Facebook.
He's a molester.
He's a
okay.
I regret adding Tom Green, he's a child molester, onto the list of sound effects that can be redeemed by the chat at any time.
Oh my god, no.
I want that on the soundboard.
I mean, I can do it.
Put it on the soundboard.
I can put that on the soundboard. I'm also debating getting the sound effects from Kung Pao Enter the Fist and putting them down. That's a lot of nuts, for example, so...
You might want to remove that.
No, it's there in perpetuity. My life is nothing but constant suffering and memeing. Wrath is the designated soundboard jockey. Yes, he is. If you don't mind me asking, so outside of me searching your page, what kind of art inspires you to create that makes you want to do like speed drawing or go in depth in regards to your content?
Oh my gosh. Well, Jonan Vasquez and Tim Burton were the artists that made me want to start drawing in the first place. And I just really loved, ever since I was a kid, I've loved like spooky shit and dark shit and like disenfranchised, sarcastic humor. So like Invader Zim is something that really inspired me as a kid. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a huge inspiration for me. If that's what you meant.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm once again kind of interested in, because I think I know exactly the type of person that you are. I went to high school with people like you, and I'm like, yeah, you're part of that crowd. I was friends with that crowd. I dig that crowd. I will take a bullet for that crowd.
I was one of the XD random scene kids, just without the hair.
Yeah, pretty much. If you don't mind me asking, you have a store page where people can commission you for artists at ACG Goods.
They can't commission me, but they can buy my products, yeah.
What made you originally start sitting there going like, I want to create actual like physical products as opposed to like, say, digital art for people? Because I'm sitting there and I'm looking at like keychains, and little sort of like knickknacks that can go sort of on your table, and I believe, stickers and what have you. What made you wanted to go into that kind of realm?
Well, ever since I graduated high school, I've wanted to do like tabling at conventions, but it was always really hard for me because way back when, first of all, everyone was gatekeeping where they got their products made and everything. So it was just sort of impossible unless you could like really make a storefront out of your home and just take a chance on buying tons of stock only for it to not sell or sell really well. You didn't really know. So when ACG Goods became a thing through, I think Wuacry is what it's called, which is a service that makes acrylic goods. They made a print-on-demand service that was artist first with no AI and stuff, and I immediately signed up because that takes care of half the issues that I had, which is buying a bunch of stock and then not being able to sell it. But I always wanted to do tabling at conventions, and also I saw that, other VTubers have merch, so I wanted my own merch. Whether I was big or small, it doesn't matter. I just want it ready to go, So I wanted to open up a storefront, and ACG was just the perfect place to do it because everything is print on demand. I don't have to worry about stock. Unless I'm doing a giveaway or something, then I get the products ordered to my house and then send them out to the winners and such. But yeah, pretty much I've just always wanted to make merch and sell it at a convention. I've always wanted to do artist alleys.
Have you done any artist alleys yet?
Not yet. I haven't been able to apply for any at the moment. I'm just busy all the time. And it just you do have to pay a fee to buy a booth and such, and I've just never been that financially stable.
I know exactly what you're talking about. When you have no funds, starting a business, even if it's something like small, like in the convention space, shit gets costly. Very recently, I just came back from Anime North. In fact, I was there today because I had people that are in the con scene. I used to work for another convention as like a media liaison, so I have contacts in that space as well as I sing in a rock band. So a lot of people are familiar with me from my band in the convention. But you have to usually put down a monetary deposit to rent out the table space. And then you're sitting there going like, okay, well, I hope I have enough money to break even. Because a lot of these people have no idea who the hell I am. And it's very, I wouldn't say cutthroat, but it's more along the lines of there are so many people that are in the artist alley that have been there longer and know the ins and outs of it. And so when you're just starting out, it can be very daunting.
Yeah. And on top of that, just people, I don't know about it nowadays because I haven't gone to a lot of conventions because of said financial instability. Yeah. But back in the day when I used to be like, how did you get into this? Like, where do you get your stuff made? They'd be like, no comment. Not telling you. They used to be very gatekeepy about it. So it was like hard to get products even made because you don't know where people are getting things. So cutthroat is definitely the word.
Can I ask you, what made you want to get into VTubing?
Oh gosh, I've been very open about this. But the thing is, like, so when during the pandemic, when VTubing was starting to get big, I'm very open about this. I saw, anime girls with big titties getting money thrown at them, and I'm gonna be honest, that is what made me go for it. But then I discovered that it is actually a wonderful hobby that I greatly enjoy. I discovered that I loved entertaining people, and that's what made me stay.
I'm glad that you are staying. I'm glad that you're part of the scene. And as someone who is, because of this goddamn show, is now having to make those decisions of, hey, do I want to continue as a VTuber? I'm actually enjoying it, but like, do I want to fork out $1,000?
Yeah, and I don't even. And that's why I started learning Vroid and like trying to actually get good at it. And I think I've gotten pretty good. There's people who tell me they didn't even know that my model is a Vroid.
There are very brief parts where I can tell facially. I'm like, yeah, that's a Vroid model. But I think it's once again, if you use the software, you can just tell. People take one good look at me and they're like, Vroid. And I'm like, yeah, you got me. But it is sort of like a great sort of beginner-friendly program. Easy to jump into, very difficult to master. And I say that as someone who, once again, is going to be asking you for help because, as you can tell, I can't do hair to save my life.
It's okay. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is all stock hairstyle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
This is all stock hair. This is all stock hair. I put all of the work into the clothing textures, and I put all of the work into the face and pushing the limits of what you can do to the face, because you can go over, those sliders, you can actually push the numbers over 100.
Yeah, if you enter it manually.
Yeah. And so I've completely pushed the limits of the eyes. They're actually totally broken if you look at them from a certain angle.
Yeah.
But then I've done the face blushing and everything so carefully so that you can't see the breakage. And this model's being held together by toothpicks and chewing gum.
But to some degree,
and then
sorry, keep going.
Sorry,
keep going.
And then I used oh goodness, I can't remember the name of it, but it puts all the blend shapes on my models so that I can do high quality face tracking and all that.
To some degree, I genuinely like the DIY nature that can come out of VTubing. It kind of sort of reminds me of my music career because, like, I didn't go to school for music. I didn't know anything about, like, instrumentation. I just listened to a fuck ton of music and thought, I hate Justin Bieber. I need to do something before this asshole takes over my scene. And
yeah,
and you just grab an acoustic guitar and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to learn. Hopefully I learn. And you just kind of make your way through it. And it'll be shit at first and it's very cringy, but like over time you develop the skills and you're like, oh, okay, I think I'm in a comfortable place. I'm not, you know, completely comfortable, but I'm enough to at least sit there and go, I kind of sort of belong in the space, even though there is like a lot of competition, even though it is gatekeepy. But genuinely, it has been a really interesting and entertaining journey. I mean, I'm meeting you, for example. Which I would not have learned about you, and I would not have met all these other fantastic people if it wasn't for VTubing, and as well for Wrath, who is my gateway drug to VTubing in a way.
Also, shout out to the VTuber community for being the least gatekeeping community I've ever seen. Holy shit, they're like, oh my god, do you want to know how I did this? This is exactly how I did this. Isn't it cool? And they'll tell you, they'll give you all the resources. It's such a nice thing.
I still think that there will be some gatekeepingness, but like as a whole, VTubing hasn't been problematic in terms of like people sharing their information, their tips on what you can do to grow. I think the only thing that I've ever had an issue with when it comes to VTubers is their personality off camera. Because, you know, it doesn't matter how good you are on camera, a person is still a person, and those people have flaws. Sif the Goblin says, as a wise yellow magical dog once said, sucking at something is the first step to being sort of good at something. So I applaud that musical journey. I applaud the music journey.
Very much.
So I'm going to ask, what is it about clowns?
Huh?
I'm looking at your art thing and it says live clown reaction.
Oh,
what is that?
That is an old before I came out as trans, I used to use girl personas for VTubing, and that was one of the possible personas that I was going to have because it was right after, oh gosh, has a little bit of a story attached to it. It was right after I got out of my 3-year abusive relationship and I was heavily dissociated. And I was going through this phase where I really loved liminal spaces and like dream core and weird core imagery. And in that there's like a lot of like clowns and stuff. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like a weird core clown. And I was going on this, like, I call it a wake and bake weird core vacation, where I was heavily drugged out of my shit on weed and constantly looking at derealization stuff. And so I had this really, I don't want to call it a mentee bee, and that's a mental breakdown. But like that sort of influenced the clown thing, and I almost shipped it and then decided to extend my hiatus and think it over, and that's when I got to, I think, Cyberpunk instead.
Cyberpunk is a very great universe. The game, I have issues with it. But that's primarily not associated with the story. My problem is what was going on behind the scenes with the employees, how they were being treated, and how the game in on itself was a broken, buggy mess. And the company said, hey, don't release any footage in your reviews. And I'm like, my gosh. Excuse me?
Flag.
Yeah. That is an immediate red flag. Luckily, all the major, reviewers basically said, hey, the company said not to use any gaming footage, so we're going to let you know it's a piece of crap right now.
When I say cyberpunk, I mean more like the whole genre itself, not just that game. is when I say I became a cyberpunk VTuber. I mean, like, the whole genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love the cyberpunk genre. It's one of the many things that I rotate in my, like, interest wheel, my hyperfixation wheel.
If you don't mind me asking, what recommendations would you have in terms of, like, cyberpunk lore, like books or media that you would recommend to me? Because I'd love to read
I think
up more.
the ultimate guide is oh gosh, it's in my, hang on, I can find it. Because I want to say the exact name of it. I don't want to paraphrase, so let me find it really quick. It's
Cool.
just in my watch later, I think. It is called Cyberpunk Documentary Part 1 by Indigo Gaming. And they have a 5-part series that goes through all of the decades and the complete history of cyberpunk media. They list every kind of cyberpunk media, every book, every game. It's the best resource if you want to learn.
So give me a second. Cyberpunk documentary by Indigo. Give me a second. Okay. So I have... Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. Neuromancer, Blade Runner. Gotcha. Cool. So I'm going to be binging this later because I'm fascinated about the concepts of cyberpunk, but also at the same time, the cyberpunk universe has always been like a futuristic neo-noir. And I'm wondering what more is there outside of what I've grown accustomed to.
Yeah, there's a lot more now too. There's this delivery game called Cloudpunk that I like to play sometimes on stream, and I really love that one. It's you fly a ship and deliver things while there is a story unfolding around you with the main character that you play as and such. It's really interesting, and it's a lot very Blade Runner-esque when it comes to the robots and how they act and sort of think about the world.
Can I ask, because we're talking about cyberpunk, and one of the things that kind of permeates is the ability to add in technology into, you know, your body parts, sort of like a splice between man and machine. And I know for a fact, we mentioned it before we started this live stream, that you are disabled. And I'm wondering, does your disability possibly factor into your sort of fascination with cyberpunk, you know, being able to take broken parts and replace them with new technology possibly, or am I just grasping at straws?
Oh no, it's absolutely related. I really wish that I didn't hurt all the time and then I could walk more than like 30 minutes. And even less than that now. I think it's gotten worse recently. But I have would you like to have me expand more on the cyberpunk part, or would you like me to describe like what I deal with, what exactly physically disables me?
Whatever you feel comfortable doing with, and even if you don't want, even if we start with one, we can always jump to the other at a later point.
It can lead into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a severe scoliosis, and it wasn't scoliosis that I got by like hunching in my chair too much. I was actually born with a fucked up spine. And it just never really caused issues for me when I was young, because I hadn't had, of course, the hunching over and being an artist did not help. But essentially, it wasn't until I entered the workforce that I started to have like weird pain in my back all the time, but it was like easy to ignore. And then that's when I was banging out 12-hour shifts at Jack in the Box.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was doing hella shit at Jack in the Box as an overnight employee. And then I'd been through a couple different jobs back and forth at Jack in the Box. And then it wasn't until I worked as a waiter in a old home, a like senior living facility that had a cafeteria attached. And I was a waiter that would go around. And it wasn't until then that I really started feeling like something's wrong. I hurt a lot. I hurt more than is natural. But of course, I'm surrounded by old people, and all of my coworkers are older than me, so they all tell me like, "Oh, you're just one of those millennials, one of those young people overreacting." about your pain. You don't experience pain. I experience pain because I'm older than you. So I was like, okay, I guess it's just all in my head.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I started my, oh god, I can't remember which job it was, but I decided to work at an anime store, and the CEO of that store was also like, she was like the manager of all of the stores because there wasn't a ton of them.
Yeah.
But she started putting me on 8-hour shifts again, and then I really started to hurt to the point where before I even got a doctor's note for it, I started bringing a cane with me to work just to hold me up, because I could not stand for that amount of time anymore. It would hurt so much that I'd have to sit down or take frequent breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I actually went to the doctor and said, Doc, something is wrong with me. Something's wrong with me that they never... Well, because the thing is, I knew that I had scoliosis, but I didn't think it was a problem. And we found out in middle school when, for some reason, my school still had like the physical exams that the kids would line up outside the nurse's office for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a very rare experience for most kids, but they had it at my school. And so they did the physical exam, and they put this thing, they ask you to bend over, and then they put this like alignment thing on your back, and they like go down your back to see if it's straight. And they said, oh, you got scoliosis, you're a little bit of a shrimp. You got like an S curve in your spine. And that's not a frontward backward S curve, that's a side to side S curve.
That's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, you should probably, like, I don't know, go to the chiropractor or something. It's probably not a big deal though, because you're fine. Little did I know it would catch up to me because I didn't do anything about it. And so finally I went to the doctor, and they sent me to a physical therapy office to get diagnosed. And then I officially got diagnosed with scoliosis. And they explained to me how the reason it didn't affect me until now is because, you know, I'm once I passed the age of 25, that's when your body starts to like not regenerate cells as fast. And so basically I'm starting to age. So it's catching up to me. And he's like, basically, this is where you start to either deteriorate. There's stuff that you can do, like physical therapy, chiropractor, exercise, you know, to lessen the pain. But you've got pain for the rest of your life. And I was like, oh, nice, awesome, good. And then it kind of goes back into, I went back to my job and tried to explain this because the CEO decided to visit one day, and she went, I've been watching you guys on the cameras, and I noticed that you have a cane now, and I never really heard about this. And I was like, oh, well, here's my doctor's note that says that I'm supposed to have a cane and sit down once in a while and everything. And she looks at it, and then she looks at me, and people know that I don't hide this. I'm kind of chubby. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me and went, so what's wrong with your legs? Because I had a cane. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, it's not my legs, it's my spine. You know, I've got a spinal condition that I guess I've always had. And of course, I know that sounds like bullshit on paper or like out loud. So I get it when she like looks at me, and then she goes, and it's like me saying it was my spine completely went over her head, because she looks at me and she goes, you know, leg pain and stuff like that is often caused by weight. Maybe if you lost weight, this whole thing would go away. Yeah, that's not 100% what's going to happen. Nice try. I quit on the spot. I quit on the spot because I was like, you just called me fat to my face, bitch. I'm out of here. Yeah. So I'm grappling with my own mortality right now, and what I mean by that is I haven't had any sort of major physical kind of hurdles or anything, like outside of running into a barbed wire fence when I was younger and getting stitches in my forehead. But I've been injury free, which once again actually pretty much would have been good to have if you wanted to be a professional wrestler. But recently I was doing a show with my band in a really small bar, and I did a small dive from the stage to the floor, and I thought the floor looked like it was hardwood. Turns out that was vinyl laminate over top of concrete, and the impact went up to my knee.
my knee went left, my leg went right, and I felt a bulge in my right knee. Yeah, it was not good. It was the type of damage where I immediately realized, this is not good, Matthew. You've done something horrendously wrong. Something has gone horrendously wrong.
Oh, God.
You need to go to the hospital. And I let my other bandmates know, and they're like, wait, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. I know we're doing this show. I'm going to finish the show, but I'm not going to move. You need to get me a bar stool. I'm going to sit on that bar stool. I'm going to finish the set, and then afterwards, someone needs to take me to the hospital. And so we
you finished it.
Well, yeah, the show must go on. I always want to be a consummate professional. And this kind of unfortunately also goes into, you mentioned people-pleasing tendencies. I have massive people-pleasing tendencies. I do not give a single solitary fuck what other people think about me, but if it through it impacting me somehow impacts someone else, now we've got a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So I went to the hospital. They gave me an x-ray, and they looked at it and said, well, the bone's not broken, son. And I'm like, okay, but I can't move my leg. Like, I'm in pain right now. There's something that I've done catastrophic. And they're like, well, we don't have a MRI type of thing, and we don't have an ultrasound, so you're on your own. And I'm like, okay, can you write a doctor's note so I can go to my job and tell them that I'm injured? And they're like, sure. Sent it, brought it in, and my job just said, so you can't really move. And I'm like, I'm on crutches right now. And they're like, okay, well, we hired you as a warehouse worker and a driver. We got to let you go. And I'm like, oh, that's fair. Luckily, I was on EI, right? That lasted. But I was on EI for 8 months. And during that time, I went from crutches to wearing a knee brace. I eventually got movement started to come back in the knee, but I was also, taking care of it. I was using the elliptical machine in the gym. I was doing rehab and physiotherapy, and I slowly started gaining it back. And then we did this massive show at Japan Festival Canada where adrenaline's an amazing thing. I just want to casually say, the thrill of being able to perform. I was doing jumping spin kicks. I was moving. I was doing all of this stuff. And then like a week later, I got the MRI, and the doctor just looked at it and said, okay, Matt, you fucked up. And I'm like, yes, I know I fucked up. I feel like I fucked up. What happened? Well, partially torn ACL, damaged the meniscus, damaged the MCL. Yeah. And I'm just,
oh my God.
I'm looking at the doc and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I need surgery? How bad is it? And they're like, well, from what we're looking here, you don't need surgery. And I'm like, oh, thank fucking Christ. But they looked at me and they said, what we recommend you do, keep doing physiotherapy, keep resting, but avoid high impact things. And I'm like, define high impact. And they're like, what have you been doing, Matt? And I show them footage from me performing at Japan Festival Canada. There's like one particular image of me doing like a flying spinning hook kick while on stage performing with the band. And the doctor just looked at it, looked at me, silence, looked back at the photo, back at me, back at the photo, then finally looking back at me and saying, yeah, don't do that. Like he had perfect comedic timing. And I finally got clearance. My right knee is right as rain. I can run on it. My left knee is still a little bit tender, but my left knee is tender because I kind of overcompensated, but that'll be fine in a few months. But I've come to the realization that I'm no longer in the same state of mind as I was before. I need to worry about my health. I need to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And like my dad has bad knees. My grandma had osteoporosis. My dad had osteoarthritis. So I have to be very careful in taking care of myself because I'm no longer invincible. I have a limited time, and I need to make sure that my time lasts as long as I possibly can, so I can definitely feel empathy towards you. And it is a scary thought, knowing that like the mind is perfectly capable of functioning, but the rest of the body doesn't want to catch up with what your mind is doing.
Yeah, it's like it's been hard for me and everybody in my life. Like, it's hard for me when I realized I used to be a raver. I used
that makes
to go
sense.
to dances and stuff, and so it crushes me when I try to dance and I hurt myself, or I just can't do that move anymore, or this is I'll tell this in a bit, but I went to a rave at a convention recently and raved with my cane and felt pretty good about it. But it was like also hard for like my parents because having ADHD, I was always categorized as a lazy child growing up.
Oh no. Yeah.
And so like when I got disabled, it took them a long time to wrap their head around the fact that like I'm disabled and I can't do things. It's not because I'm lazy, it's because I physically can't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till I fell down some stairs.
Oh no.
Because like my dad took me to a place in Washington called Leavenworth, and we ate a big meal, and he's like, I don't know why you brought your cane. You don't need that. Leave it in the car. And I was like, okay.
Oh no.
So then while we were going to, we were going to go down to the town of Leavenworth to go shopping, and we needed to go down some stairs, and they were pretty steep. So I was going down the stairs and lost my balance, because that's one of the issues, is that I have really bad balance because of the curve in my spine.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell down the stairs. And they were cement stairs. I fell down them, and then my dad and his girlfriend both like held me up by my arms, picked me up, and they both went, I guess you do need the cane. Yeah. And that's when like their whole perception changed. Because they realized I fell down the stairs because I'm disabled. Because I was like, you know what? Okay, you know what? You think I don't need it? I'm gonna show you that I definitely need this. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's walk without the cane. And then I fucking fell down the stairs.
I mean,
and I was like,
it's all fun and games, but I want to make sure that you don't put yourself in harm, because it's cool that you're able to like prove to your old man, but like what if you seriously...
I didn't do it on purpose.
Okay, because I'm sitting there going like, what if you seriously made it worse for yourself? And that's the more appalling thing. It's more along the lines of genuine concern about you, because I don't like, you're injured, I don't want you to be more injured. I want you to have like a moderately healthy and injury existence, a happy life, even though I know that you're consistently in pain. But like, yeah.
I promise I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened to happen, and then it was a good time for me to look at my dad and be like, see?
Did you recover at least? You didn't seriously injure yourself during that
so
fall.
they were short stairs.
Okay.
I only got like a bruise.
Okay, that's good.
I only got a bruise. I didn't like roll down a huge flight of stairs. It was like 5 steps.
Yeah. As Mind Meets casually mentioned in the chat, fuck the phrase mind over matter, which I'm going to physically agree with, because even though I don't have, massive injuries and stuff like that, I will consistently force myself through things, whether it is mental, whether it is emotional, whether it is physical. And there's only so much you can take before you start to break down, not just from a physical standpoint, but an emotional standpoint. And sometimes you just have to, just realize, fuck this. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself through that. I want to feel comfortable, and I don't want to force myself anything just for the sake of any other people or for the sake of what other people think of me. Fuck them. I know who I am. They don't know who I am.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it wasn't downstairs, but I was probably going to fall over anyway at some point.
Can I ask you very briefly? This is going to be an interesting thing. I can have a sense that purple is your favorite color.
Yes, purple is absolutely my favorite color. Love purple.
Can I ask you basic color theory? What is it about the color purple that really sort of brings you in? Like, what does the color purple make you feel? in regards to as a person?
I think it's a very relaxing color. It reminds me of like witchiness, spookiness, all of the things that I love. It's one of the undertone colors in Disney's The Haunted Mansion, which is my favorite Disney property ever. I'm not really big into Disney now because they kind of suck at the moment. But when I was a kid, I really loved the parks because we lived 15 minutes away from them. And the Haunted Mansion was always my favorite thing. To this day, as much as I hate Disney, I still love the Haunted Mansion, and purple is still one of my favorite colors. There was a point when green was a favorite color, but I don't know. I just didn't feel green anymore. I felt purple.
So I one of my roommates knows a lot about color theory, and my favorite color is blue. I don't know if it's in regards to like my fascination with Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever, but I've always enjoyed blue as a calming color, a more relaxed sort of like that's kind of the vibe that I want to have. But you know, I was telling my roommate about this, and she looked at me and goes, "Matt, the color that works best with your personality is red. You're bright, you're vibrant, you're outgoing, you're kind of like this massive sort of like, you're an anime person in real life." And I'm like, cool, and I get that, but I really like blue.
Yeah.
And so there are people out there that they're like, hey, this is the color that I dig and vibe, but they might not have a certain energy that goes with something else, which is unfortunate, but it is kind of the nature of things.
Excuse me.
So you spent your time going to places like Disneyland. I've been to Disneyland twice in my life, and I remember one very key part about going to Disneyland. This was like when I was in grade school. I was probably like maybe 11 or 12. My mom brought me, and I got scared during the Haunted Mansion ride. And it was like before you get onto the ride, you're in sort of like a
stretching room.
Yeah, you're kind of in like a waiting room, and it's got like these paintings on the wall, and as they
That's
extend,
the Disney World version.
Yeah, and they extend and they show like, you know, people in like there's one guy who's like on the shoulders of another, and it turns out, oh, they're secretly in quicksand and all of that, and I'm just like, young version of me is just like,
and then the scream, that must have got you.
Yeah.
I have been to Disney World in Orlando when I was just a child, and then as I grew up, this was during, I guess, my, you know what, I'm going on my bucket list arc for a moment. I told my mom, I was like, I've never been to Animal Kingdom, I've never been to Epcot, I've never been to the Hollywood Studios, and I was like, Mom, we're gonna go there. She's like, okay, fun, okay, cool. And we went to Epcot first, and they were having a food and wine festival there, so I got kind of drunk, to be honest.
Oh, no.
But then it was at this time they recently opened the Guardians of the Galaxy ride there, which was freaking awesome. Went to Animal Kingdom the next day, and of course I forgot that Animal Kingdom was all about Avatar at that point.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the Sky Riders for it, and then we went to Hollywood Studios, and that was my favorite part because Star Wars. Funny story, because they have Rise of the Resistance there, and apparently that ride is very notorious for breaking down constantly.
Yeah, I hear about that a lot.
So, first trip, went there early in the morning, not working. Went there during the afternoon, still not working. Went there around 5 o'clock, still not working. And then torrential downpour! And then as we're like leaving, they're like, Rise of the Resistance is now ready. It's open for people to ride now. And I'm like, and I saw the line. I was like, no, I am not going to get ammonia for Rise of the Resistance. So next year, I was like, Mom, we're going to Universal Studios and whatever parks are adjacent to it, but we're also going to Hollywood Studios again. And we went to Hollywood Studios, and it was like crack of dawn. And we were looking on the app, and it said, "Oh, it's still broken. It's closed. It's down." And I was like, "Great, awesome. Here we go again."
Yeah, that's pretty much its legacy.
And as we were walking into the land, I see like a huge crowd of people just like off to the one side of the ride, and then immediately within like 2 seconds, they all start flooding. And it's like, "It's up! It's up! It's up! Let's go! Let's go! Come on, Mom!"
You know, that ride is also really interesting because it's not just a ride, it's also kind of a LARP experience a little bit.
How so?
The first bit is kind of a little bit of a LARP experience. There's actually like several different rides built in one, to be honest.
Yeah, so there's like a huge long pre-show where you play the character of like people in the resistance, and you're like following them into the ships, and then you guys get captured, and then you have to wait in a line for the next part, and it's sort of just like this sort of LARP experience right before you get on
because the cast members when you get captured are all Imperial, troopers and officers, and of course with the Empire, they all act like big smug bastards all the time. So that's how they were acting.
Yeah,
like not to the point where it's like to the point where they're like insulting you or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also told my mom, I was like, "Hey, so just a heads up, they're gonna act like a little bit of a dick to you. Just letting you know, Mom. So don't go full Karen on them, okay?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I would recommend you go to Epic Universal Studios when you get a chance.
I do want to. I've been to Universal already to go to Harry Potter World before the shit hit the fan with J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I was
and
going to
really
ask.
Sucks. It really sucks because like when I went to Universal to go to Harry Potter World, we were literally like going to the land like on the you take like a little tram to get up to the park, and I was like scrolling on my phone, and that's when like the news, like the big sort of like the big news about her like manifesto got released, her like huge anti-trans manifesto, and I was just reading it and just sort of in shock. And then we walk up to the gates of like Harry Potter World, and I look up, and then I look at my mom, and then I just start sobbing. I was a really, really big Harry Potter fan before that day.
My mom is a huge Harry Potter fan. Now, granted, she does like a lot of people do.
Casually.
She does not give two shits about the ideology of the person that has wrote the books.
Yeah.
She literally could give two shits about it.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't let what anything outside of the world of Harry Potter affect her mood, her happiness, her joy. Because and I get it. Like I can understand. Like, and I'm not trying to get into like something political or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally how she stated. It's like I separate the art from the artist. If the artist is a piece of shit, then they are a piece of shit. But me enjoying the world and lore that they have created, as long as the world and lore that they have created also does not shove down that ideology, then I have no issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the problem, though, is the fact that she is so heavily into government, and she can sway like government in her country. So every bit of money that you put into her properties goes to her, and then she literally has made tweets about this. Every Harry Potter thing you put money towards, she uses that money to fund anti-trans legislation.
So I did enjoy the Harry Potter book series. I know for a fact that, like, as time goes on, you're kind of like, okay, this probably wasn't the greatest of written stuff, but like when you're a kid, it seemed like a good series of books. And so long as the author just learned to shut the fuck up
Yeah, pretty much.
But that was the biggest problem, first of all, was that Joanne would not go the fuck away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Sorry. When it was just her like talking out her ass and blowing wind, it was like, oh man, okay, whatever. It's when she started putting her money towards bad shit is when I was like, all right, I probably should just stop. It sort of lost all the magic for me, personally.
My one of my roommates is a huge Harry Potter fan. Like, I'm talking like Pottermore. I'm talking knows the North American houses versus the European houses. Like, the one thing I know about them, absolutely loves Harry Potter. And I'm looking at them going, so how do you grapple with that? Because, like, this is after all the shit going down. We knew Joanne was problematic, and she just came back from Universal Studios, right? And I'm like, you went to the Harry Potter experience. How do you grapple with the fact that you were actively putting in money for people that, you know, you're bi, but you're not trans, but at the same time, like, this is hurting people that are part of your community? How do you justify that? And they don't have a solid answer. They couldn't give me a solid answer, and I'm not expecting them to drop it away, but like,
yeah, no,
it's a very difficult tightrope that you have to walk. I'm lucky in the fact that I was a fan before I knew shit went down, and once shit went down, I'm like, well, I've already finished reading the book, so what's the fucking point now? I'm not going to keep buying Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, there's no way for you to, like, I guess, suck all that knowledge back out of your brain.
Yeah, no. There was a point where I was like, maybe I'll write my own thing, and it can be very similar, and maybe then people can enjoy, like, the same themes without it being attached to her. But then I sort of gave it up because I was just like, I'm just gonna move on and work on my own actual work and not just try to do some dumb shit out of spite.
So I got something to ask, and they're both Harry Potter related.
Okay.
They are doing a TV series retelling the first book of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
should it even be a thing?
We don't need it. My first big thing is that we just don't need it. But also, it's the pettiness of her. Essentially, these are things that she has said. Her basically just being like, yeah, I wanted to do a do-over because the cast of the old movie denounces me, so I want new children. Give me new children to. Yeah. Essentially, I don't want to say groom, but. She was in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll step away from that. But she basically said, I want new children that are too young to know what it means to agree or disagree with me.
And here's the major kind of. Sorry. Go ahead then.
My second thing is little fun fact. Well, I don't know if it's a fact, but. I'm pretty sure you never watched it, but there is this movie that came out in the 80s. It's a creature feature sort of called Troll. All right,
I've heard of it.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up on a Harry Potter topic is because when you watch the movie, you're gonna notice a lot of similarities between the book and this movie. Because not only is it very similar, the main character is also named Harry Potter.
Really? That's funny.
I shit you not. The main character is named Harry Potter. He lives with his parents, who are also the Potters. He is a young boy found in a very extreme circumstance, and in the building happens to be an old witch that he goes to learn the magical arts to defend his family from an evil troll.
Oh my god, is J.K. Rowling a plagiarist?
And I shit you not, a lot of people, when they found this out, was like, this is way too coincidental.
That is kind of crazy. Damn, huh? Much to think about.
So go watch Troll and find out if she is a plagiarist.
I mean,
go ahead, Tom.
It legitimately happens. Oh, Sif responded by doing a reference to Troll 2 by saying, "Oh my god!" Which is
Oh my god.
which is from the Troll 2 movie.
I think I've seen that like audio bite as a meme before. Yeah.
It's
It's
one
like
of
the dude has a fly that just hanging out on his forehead.
it's one of the best worst movies ever. And said, "Oh my god, that was accidental." Lol.
Yeah, like he like one of his friends is like getting eaten by like these trolls.
Yeah.
Like she turned into goo.
Yeah.
And he's like, and the scene goes like this. Oh my! It's like they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. And there's like a long pause. And he's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, they saw
They
Troll
just
2, but that was
zoomed in.
unintentional.
I love those like famous I don't know what you call them, exclamations. Like there's that one, there's game over, man, game over from Alien.
Yeah.
The late great
And-
Bill Paxton.
And then there's also oh, what was that one? Oh yeah, Silent Hill, one of the Silent Hill games where he goes, "What the hell?" At everything in that exact like tone and
Yeah.
intonation, just "What the hell?"
It's probably the original Silent Hill because I don't remember that particular line. It's either that or
It's The Room.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe.
I didn't play The Room. I played Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3.
I think I got halfway through the room at one point.
Silent Hill 4 The Room. I had a friend who was really obsessed with it. So I heard "What the hell" all the time because she would it was like her like
Catchphrase.
echolalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any kind of like horror game franchises that you like? Because like there was a brief hop and a skip where I was really into Silent Hill, but I was specifically about like Silent Hill 2, and which is, you know, one of the goats, and also
Masterpiece.
Silent Hill Downpour, which a lot of people are like, "Wait a minute, you like this piece of shit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because it's trying to be Silent Hill 2.
I know how you feel though. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Ooh.
People are always telling me that my entire series is a load of shit. So
Well, so hear me out. I have only played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I
you're lost as hell.
No. Well, here's the thing. There are parts that I am genuinely lost as hell, but as a standalone game, I'm like, cool. I don't need to play the original. I don't need to play any of the sequels. This is a fine one-off game. I don't need to go further down the rabbit hole. The very base premise of the game, to people who aren't familiar. So Kingdom Hearts 2 is the story of Sora trying to get back his boyfriend Riku while Kairi sits in the cuck chair.
Yes! Oh my god, sorry for screaming.
No, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah,
Really, the way he cries. Whenever somebody so much as mentions Riku, he like breaks down into tears. And then when he sees Kairi, he's like, "Oh, hi."
yeah, pretty much. In the entirety, I'm just sitting there looking at it going like, I guess being out wasn't acceptable back in the day, but like, come the fuck on, man.
It's so funny because they set her up to be, you know, the princess in need of saving type.
Yeah.
But
And then
he just sort of
avoided
goes,
her.
Yeah, he just sort of goes, "Oh, hey, what's up, Riku?" Gets on his knees,
Yep.
holds that boy's hand,
Yep.
and cries and
What the
goes,
hell?
"I searched for you." Like, oh my god, get a
Like-
room.
Like, bro, I mean,
And then there's like an ass touch, I believe, as well, accidental,
Yep.
quote unquote.
I don't remember, but I'm just going to just say probably. I mean, doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of shipping of that back in the day, and I'm like, yeah, they're gay. They're obviously gay. There is no Killua Gon from Hunter x Hunter. This is just straight up, nope, they like each other, and Kairi is just coming along for the ride.
She's supportive of it.
Yeah.
But it's when he's like helping Riku to walk and Riku is limping, and then there's like a shot of the back of them as they walk away, and he's just very clearly touching Riku's ass.
There is no heterosexual explanation for this. Yes,
pretty much
100%.
But yeah, that's, oh my god, that was like OG ship.
Well, once again, the moment I went to your art channel or whatever, and I saw immediately Yaoi Paddle, I'm like, I know everything I ever need to know about you without looking at anything else ever again. Because I'm like, you're from my neck of the woods. You one of us, dog. So
my biggest ship is Shizaya from Durarara right now, because that series is my hyperfixation. So it's Shizuo, the strongest man in Ikebukuro, and Izaya, the informant.
So I'm going to casually say, like, I love romance anime. I've always been a huge romance anime, but I've also been like a shonen kind of guy. But I did not enjoy, your Naruto's, your One Pieces. I watched them because nothing else was on. But like shows like Eureka 7 Psalm of Planets, which was this mecha anime, which also had this romantic subplot and a coming of age boys story. And I'm just like, this is fan-fucking-tastic. And I went down this sort of like, romance shoujo arc, and then I started doing a review series with my friend Harriet, who came on in my second season. And the first thing you need to know about my best friend Harriet is she is huge into BL. And whenever I brought her on for a show, she's like, you need to watch this. And I'm like, what are we watching? It's Skate the Infinity. You're going to like this. And I watched Skate the Infinity, and I got really into BL. I got into BL so hard that it fucked up my Facebook algorithm.
It sucks you in. It's addictive.
It really is, like, genuinely. Go ahead. You first.
No, you finish.
Okay, so for those of you who do not understand, I'm going to pitch to you. I've done a video review on Skate the Infinity, but I need to just simplify it outside of that 20-minute video. Skate the Infinity is the retelling of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, except gay and on skateboards instead of cars.
That's not wrong.
It's almost beat for beat Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, except gay. And I'm like, everybody just needs to fuck already.
Family.
Keep it in the family.
Thank you.
No! Don't keep that in the family.
Family.
You don't,
Alabama. Keep it in the family.
You don't want to hear someone begging out, who's your daddy, and then that person turning to them and saying, you! So...
Family.
Oh my god.
That's the clip. That's the clip of the episode. That is what's going on YouTube.
Family.
And it's like, it's more addictive also when the characters aren't like explicitly going to get together or anything. So people say this sometimes, like, yaoi is better when it's queer bait.
I think it really depends on the series, right? Because there's some writers who just look at it and go, okay, this is the deep fried twink of BL. Let's go into this. I watched this one series with Harriet, and I don't know if I'm ever going to make a video on it, but like it is I can't even remember the title of it. Basically the equivalent of, I'm paraphrasing it, if you don't have sex before the age of 30, you turn into a wizard. And the premise of the show is like this guy turns 30 and like can start reading people's minds. And like finds out that his like coworker really has the hots for him. Outrageously has the hots for him. And he's just sitting there going like, I have no idea how to feel about this, but this is very uncomfortable because I don't know how many times you have looked at someone and say, oh, it's called like cherry magic or something like that. That's the abbreviated version. Yeah. And like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, this is such an amazing show. It is so stupid, but it is so amazing that I can't look away. And like Harriet is sitting next to me on the couch and basically goes like, yeah, isn't this great? And I'm like, cool. This is only going to focus on these two, right? Because these guys have won us over, right? Actually, there's 2 new protagonists towards the end. Why? Why are there 2 new protagonists that you brought in? Focus on the first 2. Keep with the first 2. Stay with the first 2. So,
like, yes, it can absolutely be good when it's made expressly, you know, as a queer story, and there should be things like that. Absolutely, there should. But the thing that I really love about Shizaya specifically is that, like, first of all, in the actual show, they fucking hate each other. I'm super drawn to enemies to lovers stuff. I love that shit. So it's like, you know that they're probably never going to get together. Obviously, that's not the point of it. But it's like, then it's fun for fans to do stuff outside of the universe with it and go, what if?
Genuinely. Oh, sorry, keep going.
And like, it's part of the fun of being in a fandom.
You like enemies to lovers, but I actually, one of the things that kind of helped me sort of go into the BL thing is because, you know, Harriet was there. But like, I think my favorite trope is one of them is actually completely straight and like basically has feelings for the other, but like as the show goes along realizes like, oh, just because they're someone of the same gender, I realize I'm okay with that. And I'm like, that's actually that's actually a genuinely healthy sort of progression. I can watch stuff like that. And
then you have stuff like the summer Hikaru died, which is cursed and amazing. I love it.
I genuinely, I think the one that really like made me realize like one of my favorite BLs, although it does have some smut in it, so be on the lookout. I think it's called Therapy Game, where the premise of it is like one guy gets dumped by his girlfriend, gets completely fucking sloshed in a bar, and it turned out it was actually a gay bar, and went to bed with the guy, wakes up, doesn't remember anything. Now the other guy is pissed the fuck off and makes a bet with the people at the gay bar saying, I bet you, you know, this much that I'll be able to make him fall for me, and then I will break his fucking heart. And yeah. And I'm just, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is
spiteful as hell.
It is spiteful, but the thing is like, it's a genuinely good story. Like by the end, like the person who made this series, their name, I can't remember it for the life of me, but they have it is a perfect mix between great art, great storytelling, and like good smut that keeps everything glued together. It's kind of like this perfect turducken that I'm just like, okay, I can walk away from, you know, BL one day, but I will still go back and reread Therapy Game because it is an amazing fucking series.
That sounds amazing. I do like all sorts. I love all sorts. Especially if they're hilarious. I actually was I wanted to get into like older ones as well because they're infamous now because of the like whole lack of consent thing for some of the old BL. But like I kind of think some of them are funny in the way that they're very over the top and very unserious with it.
It really depends though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like I was watching what was it? I think it was like called like World's Greatest Love Story or something.
Okay.
It was one of the super old ones, and I was just like, it's so dumb when it happens. It's just very not. It's not dumb as in like I'm making light of that situation, but just like the way that they do it is like it's so over the top that you can only laugh at it almost. That's a thing.
There are one of the things that happened once again, because since we were reviewing Skate the Infinity, what caused my Facebook algorithm to completely shit the bed and then give me nothing but BL is because in order for me to do this review series, right, if it's something that I'm not aware of, a fan base or something like that, I do a deep dive. And then as a result of that deep dive, learning the ins and outs of it, then my algorithm seems to think, okay, Matt likes BL. Here's all the BL. But the one thing I've picked up from the BL community or people that do enjoy BL is that y'all got problems. And what I mean by that is, like, y'all ship very unhealthy, toxic romances.
Well, it's not real.
Giant, massive red flags that immediately cause me to raise my eyebrows and go, wait a minute. Yeah. Because, like, once again, I do enjoy, like, before the BL, I was really into romance anime, right? And I'm like, cool, I'm really into this. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know what would be perfect? Is if, like, they're in a very abusive relationship, but it's so hot because they love each other, but also very physically and emotionally abusive in borderline codependency. And I'm like, wait.
It's not something you'd ever be okay with in real life, but it in a completely fictional sense, you're like, this is eating popcorn shit. Like, you know.
I guess. I mean, I didn't think much about, like, toxic romance relationship movies, but I think if I were to compare it to anything, and I mentioned it before on this, not this exact episode, but, like, it's kind of like watching Gone Girl. Because Gone Girl is like, it starts off interesting and then it's like, wow, this is going downhill fast. This is garbage, but I can't look away, and I'm also oddly fascinated.
I also, sorry, go ahead.
But for that entire movie, the first, I think, like, what, 50 minutes, you're like, okay, did he actually do this? Is she really, gone? And then we find out, no, she's not. She's literally, out of fucking spite, faked her own death and is hiding off in some backwoods hotel, constantly cleaning up the place. So if she does leave, no one can go in and say, "Oh yeah, she was here," and leave DNA and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's your end game? Are you just gonna do this for, like, ever? Because we go through like a whole section where she has framed a guy for assaulting her, and he was arrested and did time. So I'm like, okay, at least that has, like, some sort of, like, end point, all right? But when you graduate from, like, falsely accusing somebody to outright faking your own death to see if the guy's gonna get arrested, it's like, then what? You're just gonna live in the fucking shadows for the rest of your life? Like, what's your end game?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Only for her to go back and say, yes, I was kidnapped, yada yada, and literally, like, in the most bullshit way, because the way that she gets her quote-unquote husband to be on board in this is, like, I guess to say that she is pregnant, and that if he divorces her while she is pregnant, the public perception will go against him and make him look like the asshole. Well, I'm like,
it's not just that. It's not the fact that she's pregnant. It's the fact that she's pregnant and the media captured her coming back in a triumphant, I'm back, honey, type of thing. And he's just like, oh, I am legitimately baby trapped. I've got, like, there's nothing I could do even without the baby. The baby was the cherry on top. But it's like, oh, we are fucked up people. What are we going to do?
Like, at this point, I mean, then again, at that point, I've been like, baby or no baby, bitch, I know what you did. All right? I do not care. You already ran my name into the fucking mud. You are not living in this house.
And it's extremely messy, but, like, messy is entertaining.
So long as it isn't real.
Yes, exactly. So long as it isn't real. And there's, of course, things that, like, oh, it's not real, does not work for. Yeah. Let's be honest. There are some things that cannot apply to. But I think, like, toxic relationships, like, stuff like that. It's like, oh, come on, let's not clutch our pearls.
It's like that movie Double Jeopardy. That if anyone doesn't know what Double Jeopardy is, it's literally like, if anyone has gone to high school, they know what Double Jeopardy is because it was taught in high school. Literally, you cannot be tried for the same crime twice. So, someone made a movie with a very interesting thing. Okay, so you can't be tried for the same crime twice, But what if the person like faked their own death, but made it look like that you killed them? You went on trial and got acquitted, and then you found out they were alive. Could you theoretically go up to them, shoot them in the face, kill them, and be arrested for the murder again?
So in my reaction to that, first of all, Sif said Double Jeopardy is a good ass movie. I haven't seen it, but I will probably look for it in the future. But in regards to that, I think faking faking a murder accusation where someone ended up going to jail for murder and then is proven, hey, they didn't actually commit the murder. I think there would be some type of legislative punishment on the person who made the fake accusation, because wouldn't there be someone to sit there and go, wait a minute, so we have evidence that exonerates this person. Why
isn't it illegal to fake your own death?
Yeah,
well, it's illegal and all that kind of stuff, but like in the movie, this wife is arrested, charged, and put on trial for the quote-unquote murder of her husband because they couldn't find the body. There's blood everywhere. The blood's his.
Mm-hmm.
And, they think that she did it. She goes on trial, and amazingly, she basically is found not guilty in a court of law. Not acquitted, but not guilty, which is the ultimate, no, you cannot try her again for this shit kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I think a year goes by, and she finds out that her husband is not only still alive, but is the one that arranged the entire thing because he wanted, I guess, to be with his mistress or something like that. It's something stupid, all right? Mm-hmm. So she goes off and literally, in her mind's like, you know what? I have been found not guilty for his murder. Therefore, I can literally go up to him and shoot him in the face if I want to. Oh. And nothing can happen. So she literally confronts her husband. The detective that arrested her is also there. He's the detective is actually on her side on this, essentially. And the guy's like, you're just going to stand there and let her do it? I mean, she's already got tried for murder and found not guilty, so technically, yeah, she can fucking do this if she wants to, in front of me. But I did some research. Apparently, there is like some sort of thing in place for this particular scenario, if this particular scenario were to happen.
Very, very briefly, because Sif said you forgot the name of the actress from Double Jeopardy. The actress's name is Ashley Judd, with 2 Ds. Oh. I don't remember what she's been in, but that is the actress from Double Jeopardy.
I think Tommy Lee Jones is in that.
Yes, Tommy Lee Jones is on the poster of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember.
Oh, sorry, did I use the wrong pronouns there, Sif? I'm terribly sorry about that. I have this thing where I just genuinely call everyone like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Sorry about that. My bad.
Man, gender neutral?
Well, I for me, gender neutral is dude. Because I've called girls dudes. I've called guys dudes. Genuinely, I kind of got used to, hey, how are you doing? So instead of like referring to you by name, I'll use you. And I primarily do that because I'm actually genuinely bad with names. So it's like, hey, if I just use a filler thing, it's like, hey, how you doing? Then it means that I don't have to sit there and go, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I've forgotten your name. Can you please tell me your name again? I am so sorry. I can't believe Matt doesn't remember my name. He has shown up. He was the best man at our wedding. How does he not know our name by now?
That's my struggle in VR chat. I forget everybody's name and I don't know where I met them.
That reminds me of like this whole, the whole it's an anime trope where, like 2 best friends, they are mutually attracted to each other, but they're not really sure if they can go forward. Like I saw like a little comment on Twitter about that particular scenario. It's like, man, we got married and we have 3 kids together. I still don't know if we really like each other or anything like that.
There was a
I don't know if I really like her that way, man.
there was a meme about two guys that were really competitive in a game of gay chicken, and they not only married but also adopted a daughter. And it goes to one of the guys, and it's like, I don't know if he doesn't admit that he's not gay. I'm starting to get really worried. Like, what if this really did start getting out of hand? And I'm like, dude, you got married. You adopted a daughter. You have this lovely house in the countryside. It got way past cool. Just admit that you lost, or you know, go settle your nuptials, and I don't know. I don't know what people in healthy relationships do. Okay, I am a very lonely man.
I think it would be funny if one of them was on their deathbed, and while holding his hand towards the end, he just whispers, "No homo."
Yeah.
It's also like another joke where you'll see like a femboy anime character, and then someone will say, "Oh, they would make an awesome like girlfriend," and with the hashtag male.
Yeah.
Like that. Like in the chat that I just put in the Discord.
Actually, I'm a boy. No, you're fucking not.
Like, no, you're not.
No, really, no, you're fucking not.
Femboy goes downstairs to make himself food, sees one of his classmates in the kitchen. It's like, oh, what are you doing here? Hey, before I go to school, I just want to let you know your dad also kind of calls me dad now. So this might be awkward going forward.
Wow.
But like, I've kind of lost a brief part of my train of thought now with that humdinger of a joke. I've kind of just lost where I am now. Thank you, America. We are done for tonight. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to like and subscribe. No. While I try to figure out where the fuck I am in this universe right now, does anyone in the chat or does Wrath have any questions? Because I am right now drawing a blank. Anybody? No? God damn it.
Oh gosh, I wish I had like a picture of my like Isaiah collection or something, because then I could like talk about it.
Favorite isekai anime?
I don't rightly watch them, but I know that Dead Mount Deathplay is really good, and it's a reverse isekai, and it's also by Narita, who wrote Durarara, so that's why I know it.
I think isekais right now are going through like a deconstruction renaissance, and what I mean
actually, now that I brought that up, apparently, one of these major anime studios recently put out, I guess, their financial report, and they have lost a ridiculous amount of money, and they primarily point the finger to the isekai trend. The fact that they have been making greenlighting isekai after isekai after isekai animations, that they believe that is the reason why they've lost so much money. And I'm like, well, no shit, dude. I mean, generally
I avoid it when I realize it's one of those long ass title ones. I'm like, oh, I know how this goes.
Like, it's like as soon as we get to the point where we start having isekai vending machines and stuff like that, that's when you know you have hit the bottom of the fucking barrel here. And why are you even still trying? Where is my season 2 of No Game, No Life?
Okay, so I'm going to weigh in because Wrath actually kind of leaded into the point where I was just about to mention. We're in a deconstruction period for the isekai genre. They have done just about everything that they can, and so now what they're doing is they are breaking it down and not necessarily satirizing it, but there are a lot of ones where it's just like, okay, what if someone was a vending machine and got turned into another one? There's a game that's currently being pitched on Steam. I can't remember what it is, but the equivalent of the game is you are the driver of Truck-kun, and you made a deal with an RPG world. Yeah, you can tell where this is going.
Oh my
And
God,
your
right over
job
kids.
is to run over as many people and things as you possibly can so that it can help the fantasy world in defeating monsters. And for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. I'm going to go into my Steam right now. People are seeing me.
It doesn't remind me, but I keep thinking back to this one isekai anime. It was released like several years ago, and it was very unique because one, while it was technically an isekai, they didn't really lean in. They don't really like lean into that. It's literally like a backdrop, and it's easily like forgotten after like episode 3, because these, I guess, high schoolers are literally isekai'd in, and immediately they don't know who they are. They don't know why they are here. All that they know is that they have been summoned to fight like various monsters, mainly goblins at this point. All right. And after, I think, like literally after episode 2, you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, these people don't live in this world. They were brought to this world, and they never bring it up again. And I cannot remember what the damn name was.
Okay, so very briefly, I found out the game.
Realistic.
Very briefly, I found out the game that I wanted to talk about, so I'm just going to hijack the thing. The game I'm talking about is called Truck-kun is Supporting Me from Another World. And basically, you ran someone over, and they got sent to essentially like the isekai world, and they're like, hey, I need help defeating monsters. Okay, what do you want me to do? Keep running over shit. It's going to translate and help me defeat monsters in the other world. So,
oh my God.
I am like, yeah, and the van itself is labeled isekai. So I'm just really looking
multiple forms of motor vehicle homicide, essentially.
Yes, but in the cutest way possible. Picture
homicide.
It's like Crazy Taxi, right?
Yeah, you're seeing the footage right now on the screen. Yeah, I am looking forward to it, and it's done by the same developers as I Am Your Beast, which for me, I'm just like, this is fantastic.
Police car.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to This Is Chaos pretty much. These are the type of games where I'm like, I need a voice act for this. I don't know where these people are or what they're doing, but I'm going to look at casting calls, and if they need a side character, here's my audition tape.
Oh my God, same. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to build up a portfolio for voice acting, because I want to do that too.
That's the curse of being a creative mindset. You want to do everything.
It's so hard. I cannot pick a lane, artist, singer, VA. I just want to do it all. It looks so fun.
Everything.
Well, so
everything.
how I kind of cut through it is I focus on one until I reach a point where I want to pick up another thing. And so, like, for example, I do video game reviews, and I did like a season of that, and I'm like, you know what? This gave me my emotional payoff. I don't think anyone's going to pick me up for YouTube ever again. I think I can walk off into the sunset. And so during that time, I started performing with my band, started being a little successful. Then that band broke up, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm now just suffering with a creative project that just went under. I need something to fill that gap. Let's go back into YouTube. And I would basically do this hot, cold approach. Right now, I'm in a really good space because I finished my YouTube stuff. My band is starting to pick up. It's starting to get better. Every single time I try to pick it up again, I get a little bit better. I get a little bit past my previous limits. I've gone Ultra Instinct. But, like, being able to look at it and go, you know what? I need to put this down for a bit. And being able to take healthy creative breaks and just try something new. And you don't have to be fantastic at it. Just so long as that you've tried and realize that it's not the end of it, you will go back to it eventually. Like, I wanted to walk away from YouTube, but I met some people that believed in me and made me feel better about myself. And I'm looking at it going, you know what?
Wake
I
up,
can
samurai.
I can do this. I can do this. Like, one of the reasons why I'm having another go at YouTube is because Wrath believed in me when I didn't believe in myself anymore.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. Genuinely
Don't
sweet.
ship us, please. It's not like that.
No,
No.
I don't do real people. Don't worry.
Get the paddle away from me.
I think it is quite wrong to ship real people. That is weird.
I mean, I don't care. I'm borderline pan. Hit me with the paddle, but I'm not going after Wrath.
No. I mean, granted, Sonic did say he really liked my impression of Heath Ledger as the Joker.
He did a pretty solid Joker. I'm not going to lie. It was genuinely pretty damn good. I'm like, oh, okay. Not bad from someone who doesn't do voice acting or anything at all.
You want to know how I got these scars? My father was a drunk and a fiend.
Wrath, do you know the like when someone says peacock, nobody cares. Do you know that one?
No.
Oh my god. Oh, now I have to explain this shit.
Got a Pokemon, Batman. I kind of look punny.
No, you can't do that, Joker.
Oh yeah, you definitely know what I'm gonna do to that thing, huh?
No, you can't. They're Pokemon. They're animals.
There's no laws against the Pokemon, Batman. I can do whatever I want.
But there's another one where he's like, you say peacock, nobody bats an eye, but you say poopcock, everyone loses their mind.
We live in society.
So I genuinely love Heath Ledger's Joker, but I just can't do those kind of voices. Did you ever read a webcomic called Lore Olympus?
I actually avoided it because by the time I heard about it, it was just people shit talking it. So I was like, oh, it must not be very good.
Well, so my first run-in with voice acting. So I met my two best friends, Harriet and Dez, at a voice acting workshop, and I'm just like, all right, cool. These are some really interesting people. You know, I want to make friends, but they're probably going to, forget about me in the end. And I got sad and lonely and depressed. And then, like, about a month later, they're like, hey, Matt, we want to do voice acting for Lore Olympus. Do you want to come? I can come. Please. Let's get in the band. I want friends. And so we went to this local college or whatever. We used the radio broadcasting booth, and they're sitting there, and I'm looking at the characters, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you want me to voice Hades? Because I'm looking at it, and like, Hades is like a silver-haired, more middle-aged gentleman, right? But the thing is that my voice doesn't go there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, hey, guys, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, but I am not the voice for this character. I am not the person you should go with this character. You should go with someone who's a little bit more mature. And they're like, okay, Matt, well, which character do you think best suits you? And I just took one good look at the entire cast of characters, and I'm like, dude, I'm Hermes. What the fuck are you talking about? Take a look at this line. Okay, you want me to read this character, Matt? Yeah, read this character. Okay, I'm gonna go take a shower. Don't go and touch anything. Don't go and touch my stuff. What's that? Touch all your stuff. Don't mind if I do. And so they just looked at me and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're Hermes. You're Hermes. Shut the fuck up, Matt. You're right. You're Hermes. This is who you are. I can't sound like I am 30 plus. I have the voice of a permanent 20-year-old person, despite my age, despite the pain in my knees. This is who I am. I am anime protagonist man."
I totally get it though. Like when it comes to my voice, I haven't done HRT or very much training or anything, so I still can go way up here and voice like you like either girls or creatures or mascot characters, stuff like that.
Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. I'm just kind of really digging and enjoying the vibe. This has kind of been like a nice, relaxing thing after the insanity that was this weekend.
Yeah.
The question that I want to ask, and what we normally ask most of our guests, usually towards the end when we are wrapping up, is what do you want to possibly do with your channel in the next little while? Like, it's a lot of times when you go into job interviews, it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? No, fuck that. That's bullshit. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to possibly explore or see yourself growing? You know, where does Gemini Prince, where do you want to steer it towards?
Well, I want to be known as a VTuber and comic author. I want that to be the main thing nowadays. Like, I switched most of my focus towards my art. I still play games and do all that kind of stuff, but I would like to be known as, like, the creator of a comic who's also a VTuber. I think that would be cool. Like, you can just go to his stream and watch him draw that shit live. You know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's what I'd like to do.
Does anyone else have any questions? Because I have reached a really comfortable place in this chat, and I am getting ready to wind down. Wrath, chat, Mind Meets, Sif, Rippy VT, I know you're lurking in the comments section. I know you.
I know they're there.
I was surprised that, I know we did talk about, like, some trans stuff, but I had, like, prepared a bunch of stuff about, like, the difficulties of being, like, trans in the VTuber community.
So here's the thing. I knew you were trans as part of my background and research, but I also know that some people don't want to let their sexual identity or orientation mean the entirety of their character. And so I just looked at it from the perspective of, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to treat you like one of the guys. And just sort of go from there. But if you want to go down that avenue, I have no problems whatsoever.
I think it's because it's something that I, like, didn't think about a lot, because I mean, it does seem like a very accepting community, and it is. But I think there's still, like, subconscious things or things that people don't notice they're doing. Like, I've noticed that people don't really know what to do with me. When it comes to, like, networking and stream teams and groups and stuff. Like, for example, there's several different kinds of stream groups that I've, like, either wanted to be in, tried to be in, or failed while applying for. And there's ones where it's like, hi, so we're, like, an all-guys streaming group. And I'm like, oh, cool, I would like to join. And they're like, you're, like, I mean, you're guy, but also I'm confused, no thanks. Basically, like, okay, so I'll go over here, and they go like, oh, well, you can't be accepted because you identify as male, and for the safety of our female talent, we're all female. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll go over here where they say that, like, oh, we accept, like, anybody. This is a real. I actually wanted to apply for a group where they said, like, we accept every gender identity. And then when I got to the form, it was like, we accept, like, all identities as long as your character is female, you use female pronouns, and only have a female presence online. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Right, listen, people, you can't just say open to everybody and then immediately at the very last second say, oh, but you have to be this, and this.
And
like, they're like, oh, well, you can be anything, like, in your real life, but you have to your online identity has to be completely female for us to accept you. It's just a really weird thing. And there's still a big misconception that VTubing is only for women, and then there's, you know, just regular transphobia on top of that, like, you're not man enough, or you're too woman, or you're too man, you can't come in here. And that's, like, something that I've experienced. I wouldn't say it's not really a huge deal. It doesn't make my life horrible or that much more difficult. It's just, like, something that I've noticed as a really strange sort of, I guess, microaggression. Is that people don't really know what to do with me. I don't know where I belong. So I'm kind of just doing things by myself. I don't have a lot of VTuber friends.
Well,
or anything.
I'm going to very briefly step in. If you would allow me, I would very much love to be your friend, because you are a wonderful gentleman to speak to.
Thank you.
The one thing that it's kind of an interesting thing over the past little while, because I came from the world in which there was a lot of hatred towards LGBT, right? So, like, to go from that era of you know, the religious protesters showing up at anime conventions with the sign saying that God hates F-slur. To go from that to finally LGBT people have the right to get married and have those basic sort of things. I'm like, all right, cool. Equality. And then to go from that to just singling out the trans community, it became, hey, we can't go after the gays. We can go after the minority of the gays, which is the trans. And so long as we can make that small subset of the community feel less than, then we can still push our hatred agenda. And people that were in the LGBT, you know, they were sitting there going, well, they're not attacking us. And since they're not attacking us specifically, you know, we're going to allow this abuse to happen because we're finally accepted and brought to the party. And I'm just sitting there going like, you stupid motherfuckers. You don't understand that they're trying to go back to the era where you didn't have rights, where you went back to hiding in the shadows. And if they had their way, the only thing that you would have the right to is the right to not exist. And so as such, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is insane. To look at the trans community and to not immediately want to just sit there and go, look, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know anything about your lifestyle. But you know what? I will defend your right to exist with my life if need be. And at the end of the day, you know, you and I might not come to the agreement on a lot of stuff, but there are base things about our fandoms that speak volumes to us as people, right? Like, just through me doing research, both of us are familiar with the 2000s con scene. Both of us know yaoi paddles. Both of us know how fucking cringe it is. Cool. Through me doing background research on you, I'm just like, I absolutely love hanging out with Gemini Prince. Cool. We friends now. You the man now, dog.
Thank you. And it is just like, I think out of everything, the one thing that confuses and disappoints me most is like, so I lived 29 years of my life as a woman. I didn't come out until the age of 29, which was only like now 2 years ago, because I turned 31 this year. But it's so funny how like you go to like the spaces that you always used to go to, like, and people will be like, oh, well, I see here that you identify as a man. You are now unsafe. Yeah. Just assuming that, like, just because there's nothing different about me, but just because I'm a man now, I'm suddenly unsafe. And that's the most perplexing thing to me. Like, I haven't lived most of my life as a woman, but also I don't like the misconception that just I'm not a like not all men type person, because we've been there with that. But I do think it's kind of unfair to just be like, men are unsafe at large.
I mean, and guys are unsafe, and I do say this as a guy. There have been some people where I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What the ever-loving fuck?
Yeah, statistically, yes, but I just don't think it's fair that, like, I'm sort of lumped into this just because I identify as one. It's weird to me.
You're in this really bizarre, like, hedge where people will look at you and sit there and go, well, you identify as this, but we do not accept you as that. And then there are like a group of people that either do not understand or just sit there and think the absolute worst and think that like you are a groomer. And then there also is another subset as well. Like, cause I know that some people can't help but fetishize the trans community because their only exposure to the trans community is through pornographic material. So it becomes this sort of like, what, you can't even fucking win in this situation. It's bullshit. And I
don't even. Sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Don't even get me started on when I tell them I'm trans and a femboy. Then it just scrambles their atoms.
You know, you'd be surprised at just how insane the human mind can't really comprehend. And it's a weird situation because like a huge
It's like
chunk of homelessness are children who are rejected by their parents and had to just head to the streets because they can't find a community that makes them feel loved and accepted. And I think one of the things that helped me kind of come to terms and grapple with this is the realization that I'm not 100% straight. I don't know where I fit under that umbrella, but I know for a fact that I'm not 100% straight. And also the fact that I have met people that are trans, and I've also unfortunately befriended people that became massive homophobic pieces of shit. And like I'm not going to name names, but I've been in the music community, in the music scene in Toronto for 15 years. And I've come across so many different talented musical people. And one of the best people that I've ever had to work with, they were in a band with me for about 4 years, but they are right-wing conservative Christian. And I'm left-leaning democratic socialist. You know, I'm progressive. And I picked them up in my car, and, you know, we would always get into debates. And it came to a point where I'm just like, I don't know how to react to this, because we're driving them, and, you know, at some point he brought up the LGBT question, and I'm like, okay, well, what about the LGBT community? And he's like, well, they're groomers. And I'm like, no, not all of them are groomers. There are plenty of people that are part of the LGBT that do not do that. You're just getting fed what you're getting in your echo chamber. If you're saying that, then what about the Catholic Church that you like? I think pound for pound, the scandals involving groomers kind of sways towards that. And he goes like, and he basically tells me, Matt, I don't think, you know, I consider them groomers. I don't even think they have the rights to live. And I stopped because I didn't slam on the brakes, but it rattled me a little bit. And it rattled me because my roommate, my adopted sister, is bisexual. And I knew that I wasn't 100% straight. And I'm sitting there going like, this is someone that I'm friends with, and I don't feel safe with him. I don't feel like letting them ever know where I swing on that sexuality and orientation spectrum. And
immediately unsafe.
Yeah, and that's me as like a normal dude. So I can't even begin to fucking imagine. And then there's also another subset where it's like pretty privilege exists, and it's even worse if you're part of the trans community, because
absolutely.
if you don't pass, then people are just going to immediately say that treat you like that you are less than. But if you are attractive, then it goes into the, oh well, I'm also fetishizing you, so have your piece, king or queen. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this world that we're living in?
Oh my god. And it's also like, whenever you don't pass as well, that's the first thing people always want to bring up when like they meet you. Yeah. Like when I go into VR chat, I have my pronouns posted above my head that say he, him, right? Yeah. And I walk into a public, and this happens almost every time. I walk into a public, someone comes up to me and says, oh, hi, you know, because it's like a group public or whatever. And I go, oh, hello. The first thing they do is point at me and go, your voice doesn't match your pronouns. And I go, okay, what do you want me to do about that?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just smoke about 20 cartons of cigarettes to make it sound better.
It's so weird. Like, there was a night where it happened 3 times in one night.
Yeah.
I go into a world, they go, oh, hey, your voice doesn't match your pronouns. And I'm like, is that a problem? And they're like, nope, just pointing it out.
It's like, okay, I get it. I understand that you get it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and then it's like, I immediately get uncomfortable. I go to a different place. I found some people to talk with. We have a conversation, and then like, after like 5 minutes of talking, this guy goes, Now, pardon me for asking, but I couldn't help but notice that your voice doesn't match your pronouns, and I just go, oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
So
just shut up.
So we have.
I become the question answerer after that.
So we have guests that are coming up in the future, and guests that we have interviewed, and one of the guests, and I'm keeping this to myself because I know that when I bring it up, Wrath is going to be like, "Wait, what?" But
You what?
yeah, we've interviewed people that have the most feminine sounding voices. But they are big burly dudes, and they identify as being big burly dudes. And that's the thing. It's like, you know what? Don't judge a book by its cover. Respect people for their autonomy. The same way that you would want someone to respect you for you, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want people coming into me and starting to label me as something that is clearly offensive or clearly pointing something out. And I'm like, cool, I get the fact you're pointing this out. Stop pointing it out. It's not making me feel comfortable. This is not who I identify as. I get it. If you care, if you legitimately care, don't make it a big fucking thing, which is also one of the reasons why I didn't want to ask you any questions about being trans, primarily because I would have possibly figured you deal with this all the fucking time.
Yeah, but I think I figured, like, oh, as an interview, of course you're going to ask me questions about shit. Might as well get the answers ready, you know?
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to do it out of respect because I didn't want to make your sexuality and your orientation the entire focus of the interview. And I wanted to legitimately get to know you for you. And thank you for opening up about this.
Yeah.
Well, because, you know, I also thought this was a good time to, like, talk about my struggles about it, because you don't really hear a whole lot about this, like a trans man perspective in the VTuber community. There's lots of amazing, beautiful, gorgeous trans women in the community, and you often hear about them. I've never heard someone talk about, like, how when you're a trans man in VTubing, people just do not know what the fuck to do with you.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're not a girl to them, you're not a guy to them. What are you? Where do you go? I don't know what box to put you in. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm just not going to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, there's been plenty of streamers that I have, you know, followed throughout the years, and two of our guests, you know, very effeminate sounding. And there's been times where I accidentally referred to them as, you know, she, her, and I'm like, immediately catch myself. I'm like, God damn it. Damn it!
Yep.
No.
Well, here's the very brief thing. Sorry if I cut you off. I make mistakes all the fucking time. Sometimes with people's names, sometimes with their pronouns. But so long as you realize you made a mistake, hey, you know what? I'm terribly sorry. Let me try that again. I did that with Sif earlier on in the chat. I accidentally used the wrong pronouns. They corrected me. I realized from that mistake, I moved on, and we're enjoying ourselves in the chat as a result of that.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I never wanted to be super militant about it, because I've known people that were like that, and it's just really not the way to go either. Just, you know, if someone makes a mistake, it's okay to say sorry and let's move on. Like, we don't need to be like, you are a horrible person. That's unneeded.
I think people have a hard time coming to grips with the fact that they're wrong about something. They don't like that feeling of being vulnerable, about sitting there going, oh no, I made this social faux pas. And as a defense mechanism, rather than admitting that they made a mistake, changing and trying to have a more empathetic experience, they will double down and go in the inverse direction. And I don't know what the solution is to that. Really, it's genuinely a question that we have to ask ourselves. Is it a culture thing? Is it a personal thing? Is it a sociological thing? That I don't know. But yeah,
I think it's also just not a big deal to me, because my parents they haven't changed anything about what they call me, so I'm kind of just used to it.
Either way, I'm going to ask one last time. Does anyone have any further questions that they would like to ask Gemini Prince. I will give you 20 seconds until countdown. With a game of Heads Up, 7 Up, me slipping into the abyss.
I honestly understand wanting to wrap it up because it's hot as frick in this room right now.
All the way out in Washington State?
Yeah, no, our summers have gotten hotter recently. And like I said, I have English sensibilities when it comes to the heat.
I grew up in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is also on the West Coast. It's just north of Washington State. It shares the border between Seattle, Washington. And so, like, our summers are boiling, but, like, winters, non-existent. It was always just like, wait, why did Vancouver get the Winter Olympic Games? I get that we get Whistler, but, like, we don't have cool winters. And then during the Winter Olympic Games, they had to ship snow in from across the provinces in order to make sure. God. Yeah, they got it from, like, Calgary and Manitoba and Saskatchewan, and they're just like, oh, fuck, we need more snow. Bring it in.
It seems like chat says we covered everything.
So,
but oh my god, yeah, it's freaking hot here. It's like 80 right now.
So I'm going to just casually say, on behalf of me, Wrath of Fire, and everyone else on the SonicMTD team, thank you so much, Gemini Prince, for coming in, and I hope you had a wonderful time.
Thank you for the opportunity. I was so freaking excited when I was asked to come on, because I was just like, oh my gosh, it's me. I'm moving up in the world. No.
Yes, you have been chosen.
Yeah.
Genuinely, once again, this series is like, I just enjoy being able to meet new people. And I don't know where our lives will be headed. Like, I kept thinking, you know, I would be married and I would have, like, a job by the time I'm 30. And then all of that just blew up in my face. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know where my life is going, but I know I can make the world better by just being kind to people and trying to give back. Even though I know that I don't deserve any of that love back, I can still do little things. And today it has been wonderful being able to talk with you, Gemini Prince. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
And remember, you are loved and you are cherished.
Thank you so much. You're a homie.
This video was proudly supported by Unsung Heroes of Patreon.